For centuries, the priests of ancient Egypt were seen only as religious leaders, respected figures who conducted rituals before the gods. But what if that was just a facade? What if, behind the robes, the temples, and the offerings, there existed a secret order of men and women who held knowledge so powerful and so transformative that it had to be hidden from humanity for more than 3,000 years? Today, you're about to enter a veiled world. A world where science, spirituality, and magic intertwine. A world where truth was encoded in symbols and rituals were keys to awaken dormant powers. Welcome to the mysteries of the priests of ancient Egypt. To the Egyptians, priests were not just religious figures. They were scientists, doctors, architects, philosophers, and magicians. They were the guardians of Heka, the vital force, the magical power that moves all things. From a very young age, they were chosen and taken to temples like Karnak, Heliopolis, or Abydos, where they underwent decades of physical, mental, and spiritual training. There, they studied astronomy, anatomy, sacred geometries, and the secrets of the soul. Only the most prepared had access to the hidden teachings, those that could not be recorded on papyrus, but passed down only through direct experience in silent rituals. But what exactly did these priests know? They understood universal laws that modern science is only now beginning to explore. They knew the human body as an energetic temple, understood the pineal gland, the inner eye, and how to activate it through sound, breath, and deep meditation. Chakras, energy fields, vibrations. All of it was part of their knowledge. They believed true death was not an end, but a transition, and that the physical body was only a temporary shell. The famous Book of the Dead was not about death, but about conscious rebirth. They also studied the heavens as a spiritual map. The stars for them were not just distant lights, but guides, portals, and reflections of the human soul. Many rituals took place only on specific dates in sync with cosmic events, like the equinoxes, planetary alignments, or the rising of Sirius, the most sacred star to the Egyptians. But perhaps the most enigmatic aspect of the priests was the initiation process. To ascend within the sacred orders, the initiate went through intense trials, prolonged fasting, absolute silence, purification rituals with sacred oils, isolation in dark chambers, and even simulations of death. These rituals weren't symbolic. They were real and transformative. The initiate had to die to the old world and be reborn with a new perception. Only then could they access what was called the higher Ka, the divine spark within us all, but awakened by only a few. During ceremonies, the priests used instruments like the sistrum, which emitted specific vibrations capable of altering mental states. They also chanted sacred words, not just to communicate, but to shape reality. They believed in the creative power of sound. Words weren't just communication, they were magic. And this power was also encoded in the hieroglyphs. Each Egyptian symbol holds more than one meaning: literal, metaphorical, and spiritual. The Eye of Horus, for example, represents parts of the human brain, as if the Egyptians understood neuroscience long before modern medicine. Other symbols, like the Ankh, the key of life, reveal teachings about the union of masculine and feminine, matter and spirit, life and eternity. It's impossible to ignore the depth of these messages. And even today, many scholars believe that the hieroglyphic language was designed to activate specific regions of the brain, functioning as keys to internal portals of consciousness. Most impressively, much of this knowledge influenced other cultures. The Greeks studied in Egypt. Philosophers like Pythagoras, Plato, and Socrates drank from this source. The mystical figure Hermes Trismegistus, the foundation of alchemy and Hermetic philosophy, is a fusion of the Egyptian god Thoth with Greek understanding. And from there, the esoteric schools of the West were born. That's why so many modern orders, like Freemasonry, the Rosicrucians, and various contemporary esoteric schools, still study Egyptian rites, because within them lies a symbolic structure of thought where every gesture, number, color, and sound has a purpose. The Egyptian temple was not merely a physical place. It was a map of the human soul, with corridors symbolizing inner challenges and chambers representing levels of consciousness. Some say the Egyptian gods themselves were not deities, but universal archetypes, symbolic manifestations of cosmic forces within each of us. Isis, the divine mother; Horus, the solar child; Set, the destroyer of illusion. By understanding these figures as parts of a grand spiritual drama, the initiates could better understand themselves. In this sense, the Egyptian pantheon was an advanced psychological language, millennia before Jung or Freud. But why was this knowledge hidden? Why such efforts to keep it secret? Perhaps because those who control the spirit control reality. And the priest knew that once awakened, a human being can no longer be controlled. Today, much of this knowledge is being rediscovered, but much still lies buried in temples lost beneath the sands, in misunderstood symbols, in ancient myths waiting to be decoded. The priests of ancient Egypt were not merely servants of the gods. They were bridges between worlds, guardians of a truth we may not yet be ready to fully accept. But what you discovered today is only the beginning. If this dive into the occult fascinated you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell. Every week, we reveal another fragment of forgotten ancestral wisdom. The journey is only beginning.